Good evening, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Real to Real to Jump Off or All In podcast on the All In Network. Once again, for this evening's latest developments, I'm your host, bringing it to you live, Walt the Damager, along with my co host and partner in crime.
At Rob Cooper, hit me up on Instagram. What's going on, my family?
Oh man, I can't call it, man. Man, we've been talking behind the scenes for a minute how this political landscape, man, is going up and down, man, like a ride of great adventure, man. It's like every time we turn around, there's something new on the horizon in the forefront.
And it's interesting because, it just seems like with Donald Trump in office, seems like every week or every other week, there's something going on and there's something new with this guy. I've never seen, in my 50 or going on 52 years of living on this planet and following politics, I've never seen someone literally over the last 5 years now, going back now to 2015, literally commands so much media time and attention every single night, every single day on TV, and unfortunately, nothing good. So 99% of what's ever reported on him or whatever he's got to say on TV is generally not in the best interest of the American people or any of the people living on this planet. Let's jump right to it, man. Bob Woodward's book. It's interesting, man, because we have our little text conversations that go on in around, and I had no idea. I brought and read the last book called Fear by Bob Woodward, and he was dropping some bombs in that about the Trump administration and how incompetent this president is. So I'm reading your text message while I'm doing some other work, and I'm thinking you're talking about fear, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe they found something in that book, that they're trying to bring out the light, and then turning on the news and listening to NPR, found out that this fool, knew how dangerous the COVID-19 coronavirus was. Back on, I believe that the earliest tapes that Bob Woodward brought out was from February the 7th. So again,
Right.
you know, this president continues to deceive American people and deceive the world, and seems to get away with it. Um, and I think right now, man, with voter applications going out in the mail today in many states. I know in Pennsylvania, I received mine for my mail-in ballot, filled it out, got it right back in the mail, understanding, what, this administration is doing to try to slow down the U.S. Postal Service. It's just a lot real going on. It's quite fatiguing, man.
Well, let's get one thing straight for clarification purposes. All presidential um, offices that are held are daily briefed. They're briefed daily about everything, about covert, possible um, conflicts of crisis overseas, internationally, whatever else. There is left to no limit of one's imagination that he was not briefed or given details as to what was on the horizon. Uh, the Biden Obama administration had detailed actual agency set up in case of a pandemic outbreak and things of that nature, but he disbanded anything that was possibly set up to offset or combat the bigger picture of where we're at now was laid out for him. The Obama administration basically laid up a alley-oop for him to go forward with his administration, whether it was what unemployment, whether it was with job creation, the economy was booming, everything. This guy made it a must to get in there and tear down a whole legacy. And I think from us talking in the background, he didn't tear down Obama's legacy. He created his own legacy. So with that being said, like I said, just moving forward, he is America's greatest threat. I know we spoke on many occasions about the Constitution. We spoke on many occasions about how lawlessness and disorderly appropriations to the American people has brought us down as a democracy. And it's like there is no tails to the end with this guy and what he's doing thus far. I mean, right now, I mean, people have to be shaking their head like, listen, we must be living in the twilight zone, because there is actually no atonement, and then there's no accountability for the negligence and the derelict of duty from this senseless, mindless individual.
You know, and let's again, you know, before we go any further, let's just kind of look at the data. 6.5 million COVID-19 cases, roughly 195,000 American lives dead. I did the math briefly. You know, I think since March, that averages out to about 32,000 Americans dying a month. And if you want to even go further, deeper into the math, that's roughly over 1,000 Americans dying per day. I saw another model, I forget what academic institution that put this out there. It may have been Columbia University, but I may be wrong on the citation. And I'll make sure that I put the correct citation down underneath this video on YouTube. But there's a model out there that's saying right now, at the pace we're going, we're looking at about 400,000 American lives lost. We are at 5 times the number of deaths than our closest Western civilized country, which is Germany. You know, it's clear that having an incompetent leader has really put America, you know, at a crossroads in this pandemic, where we're heading on a slippery slope to, quite frankly, destruction. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You know, and you know, I know a lot of folks. Bob Woodward. Let's talk a little about Bob. And I know you and I even had a discussion, you know, off air regarding the responsibility of him possibly even releasing this information. I do think that, you know, I think he should hold some type of responsibility, you know, as a journalist. I know you know, as a former journalist myself, I know we hold our sources deeply, you know, when we get this material, and we kind of hold that sacred, meaning that if we don't have to release it or reveal, you know, our sources, we generally don't tend not to. But I think in this case, we're in a public health pandemic, you know, it's that duty, if you have that knowledge, to release that knowledge. Now, now, under normal circumstances, I would say that, you know, Bob Woodward may have acted slightly unethically in that part. But given the environment that we're in, you know, I think, you know, there was really nothing that he really could do, because, you know, okay, he dropped the tape, you know, yesterday or the day before yesterday, to the whole, you know, for the whole nation to hear. Trump, in his own words, say, you know, clearly speak clearly of how dangerous this virus is, and in fact, going back into February, saying that the virus is already airborne. Yet we have him on tape and at rallies after that, after he recorded that session with Bob Woodward, saying that it was a hoax. The virus was not no more serious than the flu. You know, just calm down. It'll go away by April. Of course, we're in September now. You know, so and then after the tape was dropped, you know, 2 days ago, you know, Trump still holds a rally, and people are still out there without, you know, paying attention to any social distancing. So, you know, Bob could have dropped this in, you know, on February 8th, and I don't think we wouldn't have prevented any lives, because I still don't believe that this president was competent enough and willing enough to do anything to save the American people's lives. And let's be frank, Walt. Let's come out and let's have a frank discussion tonight for our people, and not the people who listen to us faithfully. They don't want us to beat around the bush, man. It's not in this. And this, of course, this is all my opinion. You know, and of course, you can share your opinions, but I don't believe that it's in this guy's best interest in protecting the American people. I don't think it's in this guy's best interest in protecting the economy that helps the American people. I think that this guy serves one interest, and that's the interest that put him in office. Remember, he was not placed in office by the American people. He lost by 3 million votes. Okay, so let's be clear. And quite frankly, he is not looking to be reelected. He's not looking to appeal to the people and be reelected by the people. He's looking to get to stay in power the same way that he got in power in 2016, and that's through the few small elite 1% who put him there in the first place by using this undemocratic electoral process that is proven that really proven 2 times to really hurt the American people. We sit
Well,
here.
I'm glad you said that.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
glad you said that, and not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Because now you done motivated a thought that sparked off something in my brain. So who's to say that America is not under a coup? They performed and created their own coup under the auspices of a foreign power when indeed it was done by the own government.
Correct. Correct. And let's take a look how he got in. He got in he snuck in through the electoral college. And then we look at the last time, and we sit here recording this today on September 11th. You know, 19 years ago today, we had the attacks on the World Trade Center that took place. And there's some controversy with that, but I'm just going to state some facts. So I'm not going to get into any conspiracy theories and anything like that. But I'm just going to state facts. The last time we had a president that won by snuck in office through the electoral college process, you know, it happened to be George W. Bush, and it was on his watch that 9/11, you know, the attacks on the World Trade Center happened. Okay, fast forward 19 years later, we're looking at, you know, 195,000 Americans dead due to COVID-19. We're looking at over 1,000 American lives being killed. You know, so I think by this virus, and we're dying at a 5 times higher rate than any other country out there. So, and we can't seem to get this thing under control. And it's not that we can't see, because we have some scientists who are giving great wisdom to the American people. Dr. Fauci was just on television today, you know, saying that it's time for Americans to hunker down again as we get ready for as the flu season is coming upon us, you know, which is going to, you know, make this COVID-19 virus even worse. So he's telling us now we need to hunker down, not just from COVID-19, but from, you know, the flu that's coming on. So these are scientific warnings. Of course, there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories out there about Dr. Fauci. Again, whatever's out there, hey, it's out there. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not saying that it's false, but I can say this. All the information that Dr. Fauci has given to the American people via public media has been 100% on point. All the other stuff that he could be involved in, you know what I mean? The people, hey, whatever. I don't know anything about that. Only thing I know is what's available to me as a U.S. citizen. He's giving out the proper guidance. He's giving out saying social distancing is the right way to attack this this virus. Wearing a mask in public is the right way to attack this virus. And so far, he is correct, because other countries have taken that same approach, and their numbers are not even close. They're not even on the chart with the United States. Here we have the foremost, you know, expert probably in the world. And the United States leadership chose to turn their backs on him. Not turn their backs on Fauci, turn their backs on the American people.
Right. I mean, it's definitely a sad state of affairs. And we already know that the individual at the helm is not going to be held responsible for none of that. Anytime that you tell the American people that's coming to your rallies to show support, why you have them sign waivers if it's a hoax?
Right.
Why do you say, all right, if I come, I don't want you, Mr. President, to be held responsible for me getting sick? If all these things are stringent and is not according to the cause of what's going on, why does it exist?
Right.
And the sad part about it is this guy projects stuff, and it's like he's telegraphing into the minds of the mindless what to do, and they follow accordingly. It's like the code of personality. You have this guy that said 2016, 17, I can go into the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and get away with it. Here we are, 2020. He killed over 200,000 people in broad daylight on national TV, and he's getting away with it.
Isn't that funny? You know, and again, you and I know, and we kind of, we always say, we always keep that third eye open. And it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting, you know, with Trump being elected. One thing I can say about Donald Trump, and you know, we'll take that comment. Let's take that comment. You know, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. In fact, we actually heard that on tape again. You know, he had mentioned that, so he gave America a warning not to elect him. Let's be clear. You know,
Warning shot. Let's look at it as a warning shot.
he's from, and I think, you know, Bob, according to Bob Woodward's fear book, I believe Trump was, or his people were behind the Access Hollywood tapes. So I mean, they were out. I mean, and leaking those tapes
Mm-hmm.
out to the American people. So they
Mm-hmm.
were out there. You know, Trump was pretty much saying, "Look, do not elect me. My job was to come in and clear out the Republican candidates in the Republican primaries, the Cruzes, the Rubios, the Bushes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to clear them out and make way for Hillary,
Clean
his
slate.
friend Hillary
Mm-hmm.
Clinton. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So he warned the American people not to vote for him. So honestly, on that part, I'm really not mad at Trump. Trump did everything he could not to get elected in 2020. And if you can even see him after it was an announced, you know, Hillary finally conceded and he came out to accept, you know, the presidency. You can see the look on his face, the dumbfounded look on his face, you know, seeing where, you know, where things was going to go, you know. So, you know, hey, I mean, I'm just going to be, I told y'all this on this one, I'm just going to be as frank as possible and just really speak from my heart. You know, America, you deserve what you voted for, you know, and you reap what you sow, and this is what you are reaping. We're reaping the punishment of allowing Donald Trump to not only sneak into the office, but you also kept him in the office when you had a chance to impeach him twice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, and this is all
And with
before
that
the
being said,
pandemic, man.
and now with that being said, what are now the Americans are losing? They're losing
Mm-hmm.
entitlements.
Yep.
Your Medicaid's about to go out the door. Your Social Security's about to go out the door. He sent an armed militiaman to shoot and kidnap protesters, something that you would see in a third world country. When we had Philander on about a week or so ago, we discussed how things that were going on abroad we never imagined would happen here on American soil. And slowly but surely, he's bringing those elements that everybody thought they were safeguarded from abroad right to our doorstep. Fascism is 52 days away.
That's right.
Whether we're going to have it, whether we're going to have it, or we're going to fight against it and get it out of here. Because what this guy is doing, and like I said to you many times, even behind the scene and just talking and playing discussion, he's violated that Constitution on so many levels. I'm surprised the Constitution don't stand up and have an allegation against the president himself for being violated, whether rape, misappropriations, or whatever else have you.
Yeah, and the continued assault on the Constitution and the continued assault on democracy continues. But like you said, Walt, really, as we get to, as we're less than 60 days now to election day, the question that you really should do, take personality out. That's what got us here in the first place. Oh, I don't like Hillary Clinton. Oh, I like Trump because man, take that out, man. Because now, as you clearly see, it's bigger than a personality. Okay. The elections is all about you, the American people, and what form of government that you want. And the question is, what's on the ballot is not Trump or Biden. Get that out of your head. What's on the ballot, and it's very clear. It's as clear as it's ever been in at least my lifetime in following politics. It's democracy versus fascism. Democracy versus fascism. What side are you on? What form of government do you want? This podcast is brought to you by the All In Network. Don't forget to head over to allinnetwork.net to find all of our podcasts, including the All In podcast, which is our sports podcast with Elijah and Mike. Rainn and Bliss podcast, which is our all-female podcast, giving us a taste of that pop culture. Real Deal Radio, letting you know what's going on in Central Pennsylvania. As we like to call it in Central Pennsylvania, the 717. Of course, you're listening to All In Politics with Walt B. the Damager and Rob Cooper Jr. on Instagram. And of course, our newest and strong show that we're bringing in, Beast Gaming Podcast. Getting all the ladies. I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit my man Beast Mode up, man, because Walt, you remember back in the day, man, I was kind of nice in Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, man. So I need to kind of I need to get my game up, man, and get on there, man, and show these gamers, a thing or two, man. But man, go over and catch all these shows on our All In Network YouTube channel. And Walt, man, every week you tell them to do what?
Yo, man, I don't know how many times I got to explain to them. I want them to run to their nearest digital device, mobile app, whatever you got to do. Grab it, get on that link, jump up and down and do a 360-degree turn, slam and smash that subscribe button on All In Politics podcast.
Right. So go smash that like and smash that subscribe button so that you can get all of the updates that we have from all the great content from All In Network. This is a growing network, man. And again, we like to say we like to give a voice to the voiceless. But again, man, as we said before we took that quick break, is I guess the question now is, what do you want? What do you want, America? Do you want fascism or democracy? It's up to you.
Well, you also got to remember the president did say to his druids and his clones, what do you got to lose?
Right,
so
right.
when you have the power of suggestion and somebody puts that embedded into your subconscious, and you actually think about it like, yeah, what do I have to lose? There's nothing I have to lose. So when they get caught up into that mindset, that's what they believe. So now we gotta break that mindset that there's a lot for you to lose.
Right. As we can see now, we lost 195,000 lives. We lost over 50 million jobs. The economy is tanking. Let's be clear. We lost. Let's be quite frank. We lost $8 trillion. Okay, that was pumped into the stock market that people seem to forget. It was pumped into the stock market to keep the stock market afloat. Which, by the way, if you're following the numbers, NASDAQ is ended one of its worst weeks that it's had since March, I believe, since the pandemic started, which caused a lot of the ruckus. It
lost all its gains.
Yes, so right, because the money, as you say, Walt, the money done dried up now. And so what are you going to do now? Yeah. Now you're faced,
money's gone.
You can't even figure out a way to you know to I truly believe, and again, we're just having a frank discussion today. Rob Cooper's opinion, and I always will say this: I don't have no facts behind this, but I truly believe them when they say there's no money left. I believe that these crooks have stolen every single penny, every single dime, every single nickel in that treasury, and that's why they're faking the funk right now when it comes to American people, asking them, for money to help us get through this pandemic. When you
Well, I'll
always
give you one, Rob. Check this out. I'll give you one, not to
go,
cut you off. I mean,
yes, sir.
but just the other day, the finance, what was her name? I forgot her name offhand. The one that just got caught having girls' night.
Oh yeah, the leader of CMS. CMS.
Yeah. So you're supposed to be regulating and letting the American people know what's going on with their finances through that department, and you're spending $3,000 a night on girls' night.
Seema Verma is her name. Yeah,
Okay.
spending taxpayer money out
Taxpayers'
there,
money.
having girls' night, and then when you want to, when they always put out pictures of people who, who exploit or misuse, public money or taxpayers' money for welfare benefits and things like that. The first thing they want to do is throw a black woman. Well, this is not a black woman. This is a head of one of our major, in fact, I think CMS, Medicaid, Medicare is probably
Mm-hmm.
one of our largest. That and education is probably our two largest expenditures in any
Mm-hmm.
government budget. So you're
Mm-hmm.
spending that just messing around with some with your girlfriends. I mean, this is the type of activity. The corruption is so far at its highest level. That right now, as our parents used to say, when they used to give us quarters for running the store, hey, put that in your piggy bank, save it for a
Exactly.
raining day. Well, it ain't raining no more. We're storming right now. And unfortunately, that cookie jar that we was robbing, to go buy those bazooka bubble gums and those water ices and pretzels on days when we really didn't need it. Now it's a
Mm-hmm.
rainy day, man, and now we're hungry right now, and unfortunately, we can't even get a pack of sardines going on.
Wow.
So
That's
so
great now.
yeah, so America. I mean, the theme of this show and this podcast today, as Walt, elegantly put it, is how do you want it? You know what I mean? How do you want it? Do you want democracy or do you want fascism? Because I can guarantee you, in 50 or some odd days, if Donald Trump wins, I'm just gonna call it right out. If you vote the wrong way, we could be in for fascism. And let me just tell you this: fascism just doesn't last an election cycle. Fascism
Mm-hmm.
lasts centuries. You think
Mm-hmm.
racism was bad? I'm telling you, and I'm pleading with some of some of our audience, that are non-black or our non-black audience, who say that they've never experienced racism, which, you know, you should be lucky. I can tell you, when you come under fascism and you come under fascism rule, you're gonna feel what black folks have been feeling for 400 years. And I'm telling you,
Because color
it's
don't
not a pretty
matter.
thing. Color will
Because
not matter.
color will
It's
not matter.
it's only one color that's going to matter. There's only one look that's going to matter, and it's only one family that's going to matter when you're living in an authoritarian fascist society. So pick
Right.
what you want. You can pick democracy where we can all eat, or we could pick a society where we're all feeding one person. How you
Wow.
want it?
Let's circle around for a minute. So we have these high executives and these high officials that's stealing, right? And usually you would say they stealing because they're not getting their. I'm just using their rationale. I'm not using mine because I'm not in a position to do it such. And even if I was, I wouldn't promote that type of lifestyle. But to their chagrin, they feel as though that they're using and exploiting the American taxpayers' money because they don't have enough. They need to fight for that extra crumb, right?
Hmm.
What was that tax break for? The tax break.
That's right. That's right.
What was the tax break for?
Right. You know, the tax break was really, you know, done to let the wealthiest 1% off the hook. You
Keep
know,
everything.
right. And it's telling you as a working class American that you have to fend for yourself. You know what I mean? A pandemic hit, we have no health, we have no health care for you. You know, the food banks are running out of food. Oh
Right.
well, we can't help you. You know, we can help billionaires. Again,
Not once. Let's make this clear as well. Not once, but twice, because they got a bailout, right? Don't forget the
mhm,
bailouts,
right, right,
and you got the
right.
tax break.
And you know, and at this time, man, the ruling class, the 1%, they're even telling on each other. I mean, and you know, so it's no excuse. Even Mike Bloomberg, you know, so you know what's going to happen is once we get into that, we go down that fascism road. You
Hmm.
know, the ruling class, they're gonna say, well, we told you. Matter of
Right.
fact, we told you we told you in 2016 what we was gonna give you, and you voted for this. You asked for this, and we're gonna give it to you. And man, they gonna I'm telling you, they're gonna give it to you. Uh, you know, Mike Bloomberg came right out there on the major, you know, Democratic platform.
Hmm.
He said it straight up. He said, "Man, I got a tax cut. I ain't need no tax cut. I'm worth $66 billion a year. I dropped 500 million just on Super Tuesday in my sleep. So I sure as hell didn't need that you know that tax break. So I mean, they're telling us, they're putting it in their movies. They're putting it, you know, that they produce. They're putting it on the news. They let you know. Joe Biden's out there telling you. Bernie's telling you. Trump is telling you. So I don't blame any of the figures. Let's take the figure. Let's take the figureheads out of the whole equation.
Right.
Okay, you know what I mean? Let's take the boogeyman out of the equation. Where we're at right now, they're telling you that we're at the crossroad of fascism and democracy. And they're asking you, the American people, to give us permission to go one way or the other. So you can stay home, you can boohoo, you can be an MO, you know, as you say, as we call them, the hotep hustler,
Hmm.
talk about, smoke your blunts and tell us how it should be. But I
With
guarantee
incense,
you,
don't forget the
yeah,
incense.
and the instance, you can tell us, how it should be, but I'm gonna tell you, man, in 55 days, we're gonna figure out where we at, man. And it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad we're here because honestly, truthfully, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the noise. And truth be told, I know I'm good. I'm gonna survive either way. Because I'm a survivor. I teach my kids to be a survivor. I've known you all your life. I know you the same way. So we're gonna be good for real. For
Exactly.
real. We'll all be good under any type of society that they want to have. But I'm just telling you, I must prefer, me personally, my preference is to live in a democracy because at
Yeah,
least
because
I
it's
feel like my voice, my voice will be heard and I'll have somewhat of a seat at the table. May not be at the adult table. I still might be at the kids table, but at least I might be at the table. Under
right.
fascism, you ain't getting in, bro. You ain't
And
eating
it's going to
nothing.
be all hands on deck on that one.
That's right, bro. Well, on that note, my brother, let's take us home.
Well, like I said, man, we got a lot of things that we need to do and we need to adjust to. A lot of people need to get into that critical thinking mode, man, and start thinking about their plans for their children and their legacy and stop thinking for the here and now. I think a lot of people fall back into the um, the paradigm of, okay, well, since it ain't happened yet, I'm okay with it now. But you shouldn't think that. It should be long-term strategies where you and your family and the legacy of you and your family can exist for generations to generations. That's what the African American problem is, man. We need to plan for the future and not just Monday through Friday. Um, it's a critical time, like you said, it's a critical time, man. We definitely need all hands on deck with the voting, because the people make the choices and the people are the power. They know that. That's why they're causing a lot of distractions and disruptions, and they want you to feel like you discombobulated. Um, but we just want to have to pull that together, man, and link one, each one, teach one, and make this thing move, man.
Definitely, man. So I hear you, man. But again, another great show, great information. Again, we're never lost for material. That's one thing I can thank the president for. He always gives us some topics to talk about. But until next week, man, keep keep your eye on all the information. Again, be wary of the information that you're hearing on corporate media. I recommend that you kind of do your own research and try to, figure things out on your own rather than have someone tell you how it is.
Exactly. And keep it here, man, because we're gonna be the first ones to break the news to that PP tape, man. I'm gonna tell you that now. We're gonna get that thing for y'all. So with that being
Michael Cohen said it's gonna cost you 20 mil, man, to get that. But
hey, look,
it's
gonna be a
definitely
$20
there.
million show. Oh, it's gonna be that $20 million show we had that night too.
Yes, sir.
So we thank y'all. Like I said, once again, please subscribe, tune into the All In platform, man. We have plenty of great hosts and plenty of great podcasts for you to listen to. Just tune in to get what your fix is for your particular appetite. So, with all that being said, this was a great episode, the All In podcast and the All In network, the real to real, the jump off. As always, I'm your host, Walt the Damager.
And I'm at Rob Cooper Jr. on Instagram, not Twitter.
Stay live. Peace.